Good evening, everybody. This is Sunday, July 8th. It is 6 p.m. I'm Adela.
And I'm Dan.
And you're listening to the Underbelly Hours.
Woo, we got it right. Wait, hold up. What?
Take off your coat and stay a while!
Like listening to new music? Want to know a band before they get popular? Tune into the Underbelly Hours, Sunday nights at 6 p.m. on WRSC 88.7 FM, and discover the best of local unsigned musicians. Don't miss out on the next big thing. Alrighty. I feel you, Dan. Same.
We are still here.
We are still here.
I'm hanging in there. I'm
proud of you.
done with my coffee, and I'm dead.
Yeah. Well,
Inside.
you know who's gonna make you happy? Our next band, Chelusier. We've got
Chelusier.
Our band final interview of the night. Yesfest Bonanza Day or Week 2. We got Chelusier.
Hi, how
Hello.
you doing?
Yes. Let's have you guys introduce yourselves.
Right.
There we go.
Can you guys introduce yourselves and who you are and what you do in the band?
And what is Chelusier?
What is Chelusier? That's a good question.
But first, introduction.
First, my name is Justin. I'm the singer and guitarist.
And I'm Matt, and I play bass.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And Chelusier has been on the show before,
Yeah.
but
Nice.
it'd be a good refresher to remind
Yeah.
everybody what the
Because I wasn't there.
yeah.
Right.
And honestly, I'm the most important thing about this show now. So better clue me in.
So what is Chelusier again?
So Chelusier, us as a band, we are alternative pop rock.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like everyone is alternative rock. You know,
Yeah.
right?
What is alternative?
Right,
Yeah. So that was
exactly.
actually here. I finished talking because that was our topic of the
always
day.
The big debate is what is
Yes.
alternative. So I think we fall under that category. Yeah, we just like to four guys. We're missing Ricardo, who is also on guitar, so
Mhm.
he's not here today.
Mhm.
And Omar was supposed to be with us, but he's not feeling too well today.
Mhm.
Recovering from surgery, so
Yep.
So wish him well.
Yeah.
yes. we
Omar,
wish
if
him
you're
well.
listening,
recovery.
feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You are
he'll be
good.
good for Yesfest, so that's
Yeah.
good. He'll be
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah.
Cool.
Everybody will be there.
So
Yeah. Let's.
I just before we
we had a
before we
long
get
talk
into
this
it,
today.
why would you call yourselves alternative? What about you
Mm-hmm.
makes you alternative?
I see.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to try it?
Go for it.
All right. So
Mhm.
I think for us, we all come from different musical backgrounds. We all try to play different styles, but we have to pull it together somehow. So writing our own music and having our own styles individually, but coming together, to me that makes us really different.
Mhm.
We're not like any other band that we've played with. We've played with a lot of bands who can kind of pigeonhole them as a punk band or as a metal band or as I don't know what you would call certain bands, but
Ska.
yeah, exactly.
Hey.
We've played with ska bands.
Don't
Ska's
laugh
pr-
about
Ska's great.
Ska. Ska's amazing.
We've played with a ska band.
Good.
They're great. But
Good.
for us, it's like we don't fit in any one category because we might have a song that sounds more like a blues jam, or we might sound like, I don't know. We have one song now that sounds like it could be on the radio now, and another song we're writing that could be on the radio 20 years ago.
Mhm.
So
All right.
yeah.
All right.
Here's a. Maybe I won't get in devil's advocate yet, but so would all of those songs, no matter like what kind of sub categorization you could use, is all of it rock? At its core, is it rock?
I'd say yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say it's. Well, I mean, we got some folk in there, but like when you get down to the beats and
We still use power chords. So yeah.
using
Yeah.
some power
So, right.
chords, you know.
Yeah.
I'd say it was
Mhm.
rock.
Mhm.
Because Girl K, I liked how
yeah.
basically they put it was just like they didn't know how to describe themselves to other people when they asked, you know.
Mhm.
And it's hard when you do have such a diverse sound and
Oh, yeah.
repertoire where it's like somebody's asking you for that elevator pitch, like, oh, what's your sound?
We
Boop.
don't know.
We're us.
Mhm.
She was just like, oh, we're rock. Come check us out. And then
Yeah.
you see them and it's like, ah, that's
Girl,
Girl
K.
K.
Like it's
rock.
Yeah.
Right.
that's
You know.
Girl
Fits in.
K's rock.
Well,
Yeah.
Mhm.
that's a really good point because
Because I feel like,
yeah.
yeah, I feel like rock is just like a nice, simplistic way. It gets the point across. Like,
Yeah.
we're a 4-piece, 3-piece. You know,
And you're gonna
we got the
have-
instruments that you would
Mhm.
think in a rock band.
Yeah.
But once you start throwing the term alternative around, people are just like, Hold up.
How
What
alternative?
kind of
Yeah.
alternative? Like what?
There's
is-
like it's just such a miasma of just
Yes.
stuff
Yeah.
because we talked about the
Word of
history
the day.
yeah, well, we talked about the history of alternative rock earlier. We're trying to do like themed segments since everybody on the show so far has been a rock band, and the name alternative came from when record companies were trying to like figure out why DIY and underground shows were getting so popular and like drawing masses away from the mainstream rock sound, and then they would find these bands who were on the rise and label them as alternative, and then they just would slap that label on a lot of bands coming out of the 90s. That's why you have such a diverse
Nirvana's alternative,
Yeah.
but then also Red Hot Chili Peppers are
It's
alternative.
alternative,
Where it's
right?
like
Two
what?
completely different
What?
bands.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's just interesting because it just begs the question, like maybe we should start to define ourselves more as either like rock, just rock, and then Chelusier rock, or like finding different ways around that label of
Right.
alternative. Because
I mean, back in like classical time or Renaissance time,
classical time.
but you know what I'm saying? The era of the Renaissance music or classical music or even romantic music. I mean, there was definitely different styles amongst all the composers, but
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
it was just music.
Yeah.
And people.
At the end of
I mean,
the
that's a little different because there was less. I mean, there was like church music and then secular music.
I think we need to.
But-
I think as people, we have to put a label on something because, like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
I-
Humans love putting things into
right,
boxes
and
labeling
like
them.
we will say what we like, even what we do in the band. Like, let's say I play bass, he plays guitar, but sometimes we played a show at a picnic last week, 2 weeks ago, something.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I hopped on guitar, I played
Yeah.
cajon, I play like so we do different things, but in the band I'm the bass player. So
Yeah.
like,
Right.
we have to like set these limits, and I think alternative is just the biggest net that we've sucked ourselves into, kind of.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's not like it's anybody's fault. It's just interesting
Yeah.
Yeah.
given the
Oh yeah, no.
origins.
We were just trying to suss out
yes.
No,
the reasoning.
It is because you
Yeah.
have so many bands. Like, you've probably interviewed so many bands that would label themselves alternative, but it's like
Right.
that's not alternative. That's
Yeah.
what everybody else is making. Like,
Yeah.
so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, we've been talking for a little bit here, so let's give the audience a sample of what your music actually sounds
Yes.
like. So
They
I
can
s-
decide for themselves. It's fault.
Yes. So I have your first EP out here.
Yeah.
What song off of that first EP would you like to play?
I think,
Right now.
start off with Whisper Yell. That's kind of a good starting off point.
We still play that song every time
Love
we
it.
play. Basically.
Mhm. All right, so here's Whisper Yell by Chelusier on WRSC.
88.7 FM.
Waking up in the morning, shining through my curtains bright. You're my inspiration, the reason that I write. You light up my world, illuminate the dark, illuminate the dark. Sing me a song. Sing me a song. I told her I wrote this one for you. I'll love you with a whisper. I'll love you with a yell. I'll love you with a whisper. I'll love you with a yell. I promised myself I wouldn't write another love song. I promised myself that it would never take this long. But here we are, 3 hours later, a song about love. And I promise that I'll love you with a whisper. I'll love you with a yell. I'll love you with a whisper. I'll love you with a yell. with a whisper. I'll love you with a yell. I'll love you with a whisper. I'll love you with a yell. I'll love you with a whisper. I'll love you with a
Jump ship. Ow. Ow.
Are you okay, Dan?
Ow.
Dan hit himself right as we go back online. All right. We can. You can stop.
There's one more item. Yeah, there we go.
All right, so we're back with Chelusier. That last song you heard was "Whisper Yell" off of their album.
Oh, can I
Chelusier.
start? Can I ask?
Yeah, go.
Is there any Jimmy Eat World in your history?
In my history, yes.
There we go.
In my high school,
Yes.
my high school
Alright, cool.
days, yeah.
I've seen them.
Yeah, they're great live.
They're very
Yeah,
good.
They're,
Mhm.
they're fun live.
Yeah, but like,
But no, I just the melodic, the melody feel of that
Yes.
song at least
Yeah.
was like
oh yeah,
I
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
You know,
You
I
there?
only
Not
listened to,
totally,
like
but-
2 songs of theirs, but like they've made an impact.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes that's
Right.
all it takes.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's just those two where it's like, what?
Mhm.
These two, I need to. Anyways, yeah. So, speaking of like influences and what I thought I heard, what do you guys hear in your music that's coming out of the bands you listen to?
That
And maybe
beautiful
you can,
question.
maybe you can bring it down to like
I-
what's influencing you now, what was
Yeah.
influencing you before, because I know it changes.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually not on those recordings. That was their first bass player.
Mm.
So
Oh, yeah, that's
I'm-
the first EP.
Yeah, so
Right.
I'm not on those recordings. So now the newer recordings have different style bass lines than those songs, and I've reworked some of them. But
Mhm.
For me, joining this band was a completely different experience because I'm used to more punk and metal kind of.
All right, cool.
I like hard and
Right.
loud, fast music.
Stuff.
But for me lately, especially, I've been listening to a lot of a lot of stuff that these guys have thrown out at me that I didn't listen to before. Like I don't even know at this point. I don't know.
Mhm.
Everything that I didn't listen to, like Jack Johnson.
Nice.
Oh,
Someone was
okay.
just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay, like I think Justin's like, well, Jack Johnson's one of my favorites. And I was like, whatever. But then I listened to it, and I was like, okay, there's stuff I can take from this. Like there's something I can take from every music. But lately,
Right.
for me, it's been a lot of hip hop. Like I
Mm.
have been listening to
Wait,
Kendrick Lamar
Okay,
and
good.
like no actual like
I was gonna say like hip hop
I
or
can't-
like
yeah like I'm,
whatever today
yeah,
is doing.
whatever it's called. No, but
Yeah.
like there's a not to hype another radio station, but there's a throwback hip hop station.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my god,
You're
that's
f-
like my number one preset
Yeah.
other than NPR. Like it's like
Yeah, yeah,
NPR
yeah.
music and hip hop. So that lately has been my big thing.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, they got some groovy
And,
bass
yeah,
lines
as a
in those
bassist,
beats.
I was
Yeah, as a
like,
bassist, that makes
exactly.
perfect
And a
sense.
lot of I've been listening like it's not listening but watching Bootsy Collins and Victor Wooten videos.
Oh,
Yeah.
I went to go see
Yes.
Victor
Nice.
Wooten in Evanston a
Oh my
couple
God.
weeks ago, and I sat
he was in
right
Evanston?
next. Yeah, he was at
What?
Space, and I was,
Man.
and I was right next to
I
the
missed that.
stage, and he was I don't know as far back as that door,
Uh-huh.
and it melted in my brain. Like,
Yeah.
it was literally the best thing I've ever seen, and I was like, well, I have to do that now. Like I have to be able to do that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
stop
yeah.
playing with a pick and like you know.
Right. I caught him as I was melting, literally, at a summer camp music festival.
Oh yeah.
He played like 2 sets. One of them was like a talk
Oh, yeah.
set. He was getting like super philosophical, and I was like, I love this.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the guys were like, I thought he was playing. I'm like, nah, dude, just keep preaching.
And he had Sinbad with him, the comedian.
Yeah.
He had Sinbad the comedian with him
That's
in the
awesome.
show. So Sinbad was telling jokes as he's playing bass, and I'm just staring like.
What?
Dude,
It
that's
That sounds
awesome.
It was
beautiful.
literally
Mixed,
the best show I've ever
art.
been to, and I've never been in a crowd of weird. It was the strangest crowd,
Mhm.
but
Uh-huh.
everyone loved it. Everyone was clapping and dancing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
He's just he is bass incarnate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I
He's
want to
just
be
bass.
that.
Cool. What about you, Justin?
I I'm heavily influenced, like songwriting wise. Jason Mraz,
Mhm.
always gonna be my favorite.
Mhm.
I feel like John Mayer. Everyone says John Mayer, but he's the
Oh yeah,
man.
now I hear that.
Yeah, I
little
can
bit.
see that. I got a little bit of John Mayer.
With the
Maybe
bands,
more my
the
individual
bands
stuff.
we play with, yes.
Yeah.
They say John Mayer a lot.
But
what?
not quite though.
Gavin
Yeah.
DeGraw, really into him.
Cool.
Cool.
So stuff like that.
Yeah, we've all been listening to more pop music. I
Oh,
think,
yeah,
as
lately.
as a result,
Is that what you want to go for? Is a little bit more of a poppy vibe?
it doesn't make it easier to write, but at the same time, it's like if we can make a pop song that's accessible, that isn't in the same 4-chord structure as every other pop song that's out right now, great. Because pop music is to me, it's the most universal music. It changes every 5 or 10 years, but
Yeah.
a pop song is a pop song when it's a pop song, no matter if it's R&B or rap or like an 80s rock song. It's a pop song.
Yeah.
It's all
Frankie
pop.
Valley.
Mhm.
Well, I think it's funny that you can classify like Elvis in the same category as Michael Jackson and
Nirvana.
Poison
Yeah.
and Nirvana.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all
All pop. Yep.
So,
Because it becomes popular music,
Exactly.
you know.
so
Which
we're
and I
not
think,
we're not trying to write popular songs, but
but you know, there's something to be said for pop at the same time. Like things that are defined as popular music. Like just because it's popular music doesn't mean it's all bad.
Sell out.
exactly.
You know,
Sell out.
right? Like that's what people
Sell
scream all
out.
the time. But like, there's a reason why it is. It's accessible to people. People feel, you know, there's something universal about it, which is good because then, I don't know. It's
No,
We
man,
wanna
if
be
it's popular, I got to go against it because I'm a nonconformist.
We have played for a crowd at the Mutiny in Bucktown Logan Square, which is like a dive bar,
yeah.
Mhm.
and they
Famous
loved
for
it.
hard rock.
They clap for our songs. We've played at Reggie's with a whole bunch of metal bands. They clap for our songs, and we played for an old folks home, and they clap for it. So it's
Oh.
like they loved us.
We
That
gotta
was
talk
the
about
best.
that.
That was
Yeah.
the best gig we've ever played.
Let's talk about that.
Literally.
Yeah, we got
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
So I work in senior living, a place in Lombard, and I work in the activities department. So I'm in charge of booking the entertainment
Mhm.
3 times a
Nice.
week. So we were looking for a spot to fill, and my supervisor, my boss, he said, "Let's get your band in there." I was like, "Okay, I don't know how they're going to react, but we can try it." So we set the date, and we were kind of nervous. We didn't have Omar; he was busy getting married or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lame.
Right.
In Las Vegas too.
In Las Vegas.
What? Did you
So
get married by
not-
Elvis?
Not local.
I don't know. The pictures were
No.
beautiful. But everything was gorgeous. We wish them well, but I think we're all kind of jealous we didn't get to go.
I know.
Mhm.
I have my own wedding.
I know.
And no vacation time.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then, so we got in one of our friends who has been to a couple of our shows, who knows the music, to
Mhm.
play the cajon.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
he doesn't, this guy that we brought in doesn't play regular drums. So he literally learned the cajon in 1 week and put on an awesome show.
Nice.
Mhm.
So then we went up there. We did all original music except for one classical piece, but
Mhm.
they loved it. And they're just still talking about it when they see me in the hallway.
Mhm.
People up to 96 years old.
Yeah.
Like still
I
complimenting
imagine
us.
the music video for "Run" by Foo Fighters.
It was very similar, but at the same time, like nobody. It was a bigger room than I was expecting.
Yes,
Like,
we
when
have
he
a-
said we're gonna play for.
It's a nice
people.
auditorium.
It's like
Oh, it's a full
like a
blown
middle school auditorium.
like stage
Okay.
and
Pretty
stuff.
big.
Oh, that's cool.
So I get up on stage and there's people staring at me because I was a little late. But
Who's this
Yeah.
young whippersnapper?
exactly after the second song, everyone was just like, "Oh yeah," like clapping.
Who's
and,
this young whippersnapper?
and it was. We went back there because that was the picnic we played. We played the employee picnic. And I went back there and people remembered me, and I was like, "This was big. Like this made their week." It seemed like so. That was cool. It was a
Well,
good gig. Like
Speaks to the power of music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly. 'Cause
And
we don't
we
play
had
anything out of the ordinary.
75 people show up.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
and they all like stayed afterwards, talked to us, and
They
it was
wanted
so
stickers. They
cool.
wanted merch.
Mhm.
Really?
We didn't have enough merch for these people.
Oh.
That's a good problem to have. Though.
Yes.
Not at a retirement home. You got to give them some merch.
Oh,
You
yeah,
gotta.
but-
They all
We
want
had
the
stickers.
We
knickknacks.
gave out our
Yeah.
stickers. And
We
Yeah.
had stickers.
All right, good. At least they
Aw.
get stickers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
I feel like I would go home defeated if I had to turn down a little old lady wanting like a CD or a
Right,
shirt.
right.
I'd just be like,
Uh-huh.
well, we had a good turnout, but we lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that?
Because that old lady. So what was did you notice like they had a more positive reaction to any like specific song of yours? Like, is there one that seemed to be a crowd favorite?
A lot of people afterwards, they were saying how they really like our song Lost. And we had posted that on our Facebook.
Cute lost.
Right.
It's a
on our
different
Facebook page. But it's very it's very supportive of mental health is where the writing was coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Ricardo had written it for, I guess he had a school assignment where he was encouraging another student just to not commit suicide. And he just wrote a beautiful song, like beautiful finger picking, beautiful lyrics. And he brought it to us when we first got together, and we just loved it. And we did it just him on the guitar and me singing, so very stripped down. And just the residents were saying how touching it was, how needed that is.
Mhm.
So
Especially among artists and
Yeah.
musicians, and
Yeah.
it's always important to remind ourselves of it's okay to talk about mental health issues, because sometimes they're glamorized if you're an entertainer.
Well, in the last year and a half, how many people have we seen
Yeah.
die of either suicide or overdoses? And it's just
Yeah.
we
So
have-
I think it's on a rise actually. Like it's
Yeah.
not getting better.
well,
Mm-mm.
that's one of
Which
the
is-
things. Yeah, that's one of the things that
Like, why?
when you talked about us being a band that tries to personify love, because all of us have dealt with things and dealt with issues in our own life that are really serious, but we can come at them in a way that's like, well, it's not going to define who I am. And
Yeah.
if everything is terrible in the world, then our job should be to do something
To
that's good, to do something that
positivity.
produce something that's people are going to actually enjoy.
Right.
I don't care if people make fun of us for whatever song we write or whatever style we have or whatever.
What do you mean?
Like-
just like too
Like
cheesy or too poppy
yeah, so
or
like
whatever?
there's
whatever
certain
they say.
people that I've shown the music to. They're like, well, but that's not my. It's just kind of poppy. It's kind of cheesy. Exactly. But if someone listens to it for 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes and they're like, oh, that's a good song. Okay, cool. That's all I care about.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I want to be the McDonald's of music. I don't want to make people morbidly obese and not be able to move. But I want to produce something that can get the job done when you need it. Right? Like it's like what did Joe Strummer say? Why music is like their music's so quick? People have things to do. You got to get it done. You give people what they want because they need it.
That's
you need that little 2-minute escape.
Mhm.
Why do every action movie that comes out is a 2-hour vacation?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
With that, let's
True.
try sampling a little bit of that song "Lost." We'll see how the quality is, but I want the audience to listen to at least a little bit of it. So here's "Lost" by Chelusier.
And I know which road to take. Just keep on dreaming. Just keep on dreaming. Don't be afraid to grow.
let's talk a little bit for that was Lost by Chelusier, performed live at the Beacon Hill Retirement Center. So that's a song that's written and going to be off their new.
Memories return as I drink a cup of tea. My tongue is easy to burn, forgotten taste in me. Good times, bad times, sunny and gray. Wooden master around me, hiding me today.